Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suhey with Suhey Plans, and today I'm sharing with you why I've left half letter discs that I've been using for work for over a year, close to 2 years. Why I'm leaving this system for something totally new for the purposes of work. I went into 2024 being very confident that I was going to stick with half letter discs, but things changed and I needed to pivot. And in this video, I'm just going to share with you why I moved to a different system and how I was able to kind of replicate everything I love about my discs into the new planner that I'm using for work, which is the Sterling Ink A5 Undated Common Planner. So this is kind of a chattier video. Grab your favorite drink or a beverage or just kind of settle in as I kind of walk through this with everybody. Let's start by sharing what I love about half letter discs. I think that's pretty obvious. The customization, you can take things in and out really easily. It's half the size of a printed sheet of paper. So inserts and things are just so easy, so simple. It's hard to I make all kinds of mistakes when I'm cutting inserts, but with half letter, I really don't very often get it wrong. So I loved half letter for all of those reasons. My work planner is a amalgamation of a calendar task list with sections for meetings. And I really haven't found too many planners that can accommodate the meeting notes. I found myself often in two half letter disc books, so that one was with calendar task pages and then the other was filled with meeting notes. But that got really cumbersome and I really wanted them to be all in one book. But then kind of what I started to experience is just a lot of chunk. This book was getting really big. It was harder and harder to turn the pages. And I also want more of a compact profile. So I didn't want bigger discs than these. These are about 1 inch. I didn't want bigger discs either. So I found myself already kind of itching for some changes. Then at the beginning of July, middle of July, things really have changed for me at work. I've gotten some extra duties that thankfully have come with extra pay, but they are extra duties nonetheless. And then towards the end of July, we had a resignation on our team. Then a couple of weeks later, we had a second resignation on my team as well. So I am finding myself with more work and much fewer staff. So I felt that this system could no longer handle the circumstances that my work situation was putting me in. I needed more flexibility. I need more paper. I need to reduce the profile. I need so much more than I felt like this system was offering me. I think I was also using, in the half letter, I'm using Rosie Papeterie inserts that I love and that were working wonderful for me up until all of these things started happening at work. And I found myself no longer, let me kind of flip to the weekly pages because the monthlies have been fine, but it's in the weeklies that I was really starting to feel stress. So I'm using kind of this week on 2-page spread and things were just feeling overwhelming because this is a work planner. I found myself not always using Saturday and Sunday, which felt super limiting. Let me jump to the end of August here. I think I transitioned in about August, so let me go to a really busy week. Okay, I guess this is probably one of the busiest weeks, right before I pivoted. So then in about the middle end of August, I felt like all of this was just getting way too overwhelming. I hated the weekends here and not feeling like I could quite use them in a way that made sense to my brain. I didn't feel like I had enough space on my to-do lists. And then I also found the book getting just overwhelming, you know, pages losing, you know, like their strength against the discs. I found myself like, I need all this printer paper, but like there's just not enough space. Printer paper is so thick. Some days I barely finish a page, right? And that's hard when you have really thick printer paper because it just gets so bulky. And then seeing that, you know, some days I didn't even finish the meeting notes, but I have to carry around this very thick, bulky book. And I need all of these notes, right? So I just found this system getting a little too cumbersome. You know, sometimes I need to like flip quickly and find things quickly. And I feel like with the discs, you need to have some care in your flip. And I was just kind of like, I'm getting over this. Like, I'm losing my patience. I don't have a lot of time to be thoughtful or intentional at work right now. I just need to go. And so this system was not holding up to the new needs that I had. And right, like planning is supposed to work for us, and this system was not working for me with the changes to my job. And that makes sense, right? I wish I could, you know, I know that there's so much planner hopping is just consumerism and things are cool and I want to try this. But I genuinely felt like this system was driving me a little bit crazy and I needed an alternative and I needed it fast. So when I kind of looked around at the planner market, I'm going to put this to the side now. When I looked around at the planner market to find an equivalent, the first kind of thing that I thought about was rings. But rings are a fairly expensive system to transition to. And it also takes a lot of time to put your inserts together. If I was going to print and cut inserts, and I didn't have the time or the money to transition into something like rings. And I also felt like rings, it's very hard, especially with, this is half letter size. So I knew I wanted probably something in A5. And I knew that an A5 rings was also not going to have that small footprint, that like compact feel that I was looking for. So after thinking about it, going through all the planner shops out there, I decided on the Sterling Ink A5 Common Planner in the vertical undated. And I'll kind of show you why I found this system to work so well for my work planner equivalent, like as my substitute. And it's gone so well in this first couple of weeks that I'm thinking that this will be the planner to take me into 2025 as well. I'm housing the A5 Common Planner in a Moterm A5 zip in cream. I've had this in my stash for a little while. It's not in like perfect condition anymore, but I think it looks very chic and it has a nice aesthetic for work. I also have really enjoyed having this book in a zip because it's just a lot easier to throw it in my bag. And, you know, if I have a lot of papers or a lot of things going on, I feel like they're all contained and I can kind of throw it around, take it to go. So that's something that I've really liked about the zip. The zip is more of a compact place to house a planner in. So, but the good thing is that I don't use any kind of sticker. I barely use any kind of stickers. I'm not doing a lot of stuffing in my planner, so it's really just going to be pen and paper. So I think the compact zip would work just fine. If anything, I think I want to invest in probably like a veg tan zip, just because I know this cream is going to show wear very soon. So let's jump in. All right. So everything kind of fits in this profile here. You know, let me just quickly like zip this one more time, but it has a narrower footprint than my rings does. right? And I think that's really handy. It's a little bit bigger in size, but putting this in a cover was even bulkier than this A5 zip. So I have found that I have really reduced how much space my planner is taking up in moving to a bound book. I have sticky notes in my pockets, a calendar card. These are some really cool stickies from Midori that I like. Some sticky notes, a couple papers, just like really basic things in the pockets here, which I really like to have with me. I keep a Tombow right here. Because it's a zip, it kind of doesn't go anywhere. I have actually really liked having a pocket. I don't have anything in there right now, but I find myself taking pieces of paper and putting them in here for work because, you know, my workplace is still quite paper forward. And so this is, so I'm going to take it out of the cover. I also like always having my pen right here. I only like to use this one pen. This is an Energel Plena in 0.38, no, 0.4. So I'm going to put that to the side, but I always like to carry that around as well. So I feel a lot less overwhelmed with the compact size and structure of this book. The Tomoe River paper means it can hold a lot and it doesn't take up a lot of space. So this is how I've kind of set it up. Just as a disclaimer, I am still working on transitioning notes, materials from the discs to this. It's going to take me a little while because work has just been so busy, but I'll kind of go through that as well. So it's not completely set up, but it's very, very solidly there. All right, so this was a freebie sticker. I'm forgetting the name of the shop, but I'll tag it below. And she had a really cool collection from Inside Out 2. And it came with this sticker with my name on it. And I just thought that that would be kind of like a perfect nameplate for this planner. And honestly, nothing gets my emotions more in a rile than work. Like, oof, I consider myself like a career woman, so to speak. Like I'm very invested in my career. I've spent a lot of years working towards my career. I've spent a lot of years in the industry that I'm in, and I take my job very seriously. It's a very big part of who I am. And so I pay a lot, like work really matters to me. It is really like more than just a place that I clock in and out of. So I couldn't think of anything better than for my emotional characters here to be on the cover page with my name written so nicely. So that's that. All right, so the Common Planner kind of kicks off right away with some grid. What I've done here is I've put a monthly reminders like spreadsheet, and I've tipped in with some washi the half letter calendar that I had in my discs. There are some things that I do at work once or twice a year, and they're very important, but because they happen so infrequently, they're also easy to forget. So I have kind of like this monthly reminders chart that lists certain tasks that I have to do and when in the year I have to do them. So this newsletter, I have to work on that newsletter in April and May, and then again in November and December. It goes from January to December. And then this just kind of is a reminder of when in the year I need to work on those things that don't happen very frequently but are very important. So I thought that was a perfect place for that. And I do have that in my half letter discs. I think I want to tip in some more things that I have in my discs into this, but I'm still kind of thinking through what those are. And I just used some washi tape to kind of plug this in here. It's a lot less work than kind of writing in a calendar. I'll probably also do that for 2025 on the next blank grid spread. Probably here or here. And then what I want to do either on the other page is to create an index, because this planner has page numbers all throughout. So I think I also want to create, all throughout the blank pages, I also want to create an index so that I can easily find certain notes. And then the 2025 calendar here, because I'm pretty sure this is going to take me into 2025. Haven't really thought about the goal breakdown spread just yet. Also, same with the kind of the quarterly reviews. Haven't gotten there quite yet. Still thinking about how I want to use those. But I spent no time in jumping into the monthly spread, starting with the month of August. So, you know, I didn't overthink this. I just put it together, put a little bit of washi, called it a day. I have August, September, October, November, December. And I'll probably, and I'm kind of thinking about, I feel really good that I want to continue this into 2025, but I just haven't gotten a chance to fill in more months, but I will shortly. So that's the one thing about an Undated planner. There is a little bit of legwork in setting up your monthly spreads and putting in your dates. You know, but it's still, you know, if you're not too concerned about how it looks, it's not going to take you a ton of time. Yeah. So that's that. And then there are a couple more blank spreads. I think enough for 14 months. But I definitely think I'm going to move into this into 2025. So then after the 12 monthly spreads, it jumps in. It's all undated once again. It jumps into, oh, let me go back a little bit. One thing that I really like about the Undated planner is that work, you know, I work at a university, so our week 1 of the year is different than the January 2025 week 1 in a traditional calendar year. My week 1 is the first week of classes. So our first week of classes was August 26th. So I can just write in that is week 1, you know, and I kind of appreciate that about an Undated. I can determine what week in the year this is, and I can't quite do that in a dated planner. Or if I do, I have to kind of cross out what's there and add my own. So then after that, I jump into the vertical weekly spread. What I have really liked about the Undated, and something that I really didn't love about the discs, is that with an Undated spread, I can block off the columns that would originally be dedicated to the weekend to create my massive to-do list and a notes section. Because I only work a traditional like 8 to 5 schedule, I can use the 5 to like midnight and the spaces beyond for daily task lists and even more notes. I love this flexibility of the vertical blank grid. Let me show you kind of what the blank grid looks like. Right, so if I wanted to, I could start my week on a Wednesday. But what I've been doing is keeping the traditional Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then these 2 columns are for notes. I love not having the numbers there to kind of, I know that they're easy to ignore, but I don't have to ignore a thing. I can make these 2 columns exactly what I want them to be without any numbers interfering. I have really, really liked that. I do have to write in my own calendar here, but that's not the end of the world. And I really could go without it if I wanted to. Here is kind of the next week. As you can see, like this is, if this feels overwhelming to you, know that it was overwhelming in real life as well. But I have loved how this planner has held up to the fury that the past 2 weeks at work have provided. I love having all this space for to-dos. I love all these spaces for daily tasks. That has been just working so well. I just use a highlighter to kind of separate out my columns. Trust me, this is next week, and this will all be filled with goodies as we get into the week. I'm not even in next week, and look how packed that to-do list is already. Excuse me, but the planner is doing the damn thing, right? It's doing what I need it to do. And that feels so good. I don't know, like I understand that I could ignore dates here, but it's just so much easier to think in this way. And I think because this is not a sunrise to sunset planner, I have so much extra space down here for extra things. So I'm really loving this about the Undated, and I couldn't quite do that with the discs. Let's see if I can go to a page. So like right with my discs, I have these very clearly printed spaces for the weekend. And you know, like as much as I could have put a sticker on that or ignored it, it also like messes up the feng shui on how the planner works and feels, right? It's like I have one to-do list here and one to-do list there. My brain didn't really like that, right? I really love having 2 full vertical columns to make nice roomy to-dos, and I can put like a whole, like almost a full sentence across this line. So I'm really enjoying using this for work. And again, you know, I have more of a traditional job with a traditional schedule. So jobs with maybe more like varied schedules, different days of the week, that might not work. But this is like a perfect fit for my very kind of traditional office-y schedule. I've dated this through, I think through October. Yeah, and that didn't take very long. You know, I try to keep my handwriting as neat as possible. And I've set up a couple of weeks here through October in that same setup. Yeah. And that's feeling really good. Like I'm really liking how that feels. What I've done then with the blank grid is the blank grid has started about here, and I've just taken some, these are Rosy Papeterie transparent sticky notes, and I just printed out some labels with everyone at work who I meet with, and I just created a section for my meeting notes with that person. So there's one, there's another person, there's another person, just a couple of pages. And when I did the math on this, I have one-on-one meetings probably once every 2 weeks or so. And it wasn't like, I don't need, this very small footprint will take me through an entire year's worth of meetings if I have them once every 2 weeks. So that's also awesome. The TRP of it all is really coming in clutch. Then I have a section at the end for meetings and notes. My notes section is the largest section. I dedicated the most pages at the end of the Sterling Common Planner for my notes. One thing that I need to get better at is that on my weekly spread, this is a little like small for the amount of notes that I need to keep track of. My memory is not great. I really rely on note taking. So I just want to get better at referencing some of the blank pages in the back in correspondence with a week's worth of notes. So I didn't do it for the week that we're in, but for next week, I have page 213 being associated with my notes for the week of September 2nd through the 6th. So on 213, I can flip to 213. And on 213 is where I have notes related to this particular week. For weeks, September 9th through the 13th, I'll probably use page 214 or 215 to write my notes or to extend my notes into the blank grid. Right, so I think with the Common Planner, you're paying a premium for these notes pages, and I just need to get into the habit of using them more. And it keeps me way more organized. If I really utilize the notes, if I really utilize the numbered pages along with my note-taking system, it's gonna be even better than my half-letter discs, because this system doesn't allow you to index anything or to track page numbers. So I'm also really excited about the potential that the Common Planner has for that. I think I do feel like a little bit hesitant about using my notes pages, like I'm afraid of running out, but I just need to kind of let that go and see if I can make what I have work for me. If anything, I can always like add on an A5 booklet, or I can just get a small notebook for more notes, etc. But I want to see how I can make it work in here. I just put some Post-its here because I need to add some notes here, like transfer over some notes from my other work planner. And you know, this is not neat, this is not cute at all, but that's okay, that's the point. But it's all important information that I need to keep here. This is like some notes that I refer to frequently in the year, and this is something that I would index in that front spread that I was telling you folks about, that I would index here. So the page numbers are huge, and I think they really help me feel as organized as possible in a bound book that doesn't maybe have quite as much organization as a disc or a rings planner, but those page numbers are just a game changer, and they really do help make this system even more organized, even though it's not as customizable as you might think because it's bound. But I have found this to be super, like, just a great fit for my needs. I think the one thing that I am considering is like, holy moly, maybe I do need a B5. Like, this thing is packed. But on the flip side, I think I just need to get better at maximizing the blank pages in this notebook. And so that is how I am using the Common Planner Undated in A5 vertical for work, and why I think it's just going to hold up a lot more to the higher demands that are upon me right now at work. This is gonna stay fairly compact because I'm not doing a ton of stickers. I'm not doing huge deco. It's really just pen and highlighter. And I'm excited to see whether or not this takes me all the way through 2025. Initially, I was gonna pick up a dated Common Planner vertical A5 in the 2025 release, but I don't think I want to deal with the dates at the top. I think that the customization that I am having here, I just won't, like, I just can't beat it. And I'm loving it so much that I'm just going to kind of rock it out with this Undated for as long as I think it'll take me. So stay tuned, everybody. And so that is I have left my tried and true half letter discs. I'm going to save all of the components in here. You know, maybe I'll return to discs one day when things calm down or for another purpose. But I feel really good about leaving this behind and moving into the Common Planner. And believe it or not, folks, this is my first Common Planner that I really feel good and confident that it's going to be a system that works for me. So finally, I can consider myself like a Sterling Ink girly, and that's kind of really exciting. And I'm really enjoying this, and I think it's going to really work well. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, or if you want to know where any of these things are from, and I didn't link them below, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you folks in the next one. Thanks, y'all.